Man, we had some issues this morning. Some issues with the new setup, but it's going to be getting going here in about 2 minutes. Sorry about that. I had some issues because I'm back in New York. Had to reset up the studio. Was having issues. Whatever. We're going to be getting started in about 2 minutes. Let's get to. I'm going to blast out the Twitter post, and we're going to talk about some things. What a morning. Getting everything all set. I came up to my desk this morning and it was just pile of cables and things, and of course put all that back together. Everything was good, but then YouTube was having an issue. It wouldn't let me reload any of the details from a past stream. So with all that being said, let's check all that off. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are tuned in from. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily stream. My name is Kellam. Welcome to the show. I was so frustrated earlier. I'm sure you've all been there before. And, similarly, the market's frustrating right now. The SEC going after every single person that's involved, or it seems like they're going after every single company that's involved in crypto in a meaningful way. It's just Operation Choke Point 2.0, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. But I'm the wifey today. See that? Man, I've been running ever since we got going. So sometimes you just got to take a deep breath. So is the market absolutely going to is it going to hit those numbers Crypto Savvy was talking about? Is it going to go all the way down to that 12, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5 for Bitcoin? I don't think we're going to get that sort of choke point, but we're going to look at some charts today. We're going to look at some other, I was setting all this stuff up and was having all this issue with what was going on with, you know what, I got to send this over to Morel as well. Copy link to tweet. This is, where's it at? Sorry about that. Everything's just so compressed today. Oh, I'm going to shake it off one more time. Oh, we're not going to be doing the full. I guess we will now because it started 20 minutes late. You know what? Sometimes you got to shake it all off. Now, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell if you like seeing me be frustrated with my setup in the morning. Okay, let's go ahead. I'm looking at the chat here. You guys can cheer me up. I'll be looking at y'all's, let me go ahead and put this right here so I could see y'all's messages. You guys will cheer me up. All right, here we go. We got Mr. Blake in the house, Alexander G, Justin Eubanks, Brad Guidell, Crimson Caravan Company, Granny's Garden. Who else we got in here? We got most of the core group that's in here all the time. Don Cabrera, Zeus Cash, Learning, of course, is in here. I think people are going to kind of slowly trickle in since it was a little bit of a late start, so it's okay. Let's go ahead and sort of dive in here. I'm going to be, because I was setting this up for the last hour plus, almost 2 hours, and still was late. Issues. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump in here. Make sure you're following us over here at Academy BitLab, which is BitLab Academy's Twitter page, which is right here at Academy BitLab. Hit that reach. I got to come over to my page, actually. Make sure you're following the BitLab Academy, as you see that has a gold check mark and the HIT network right there. I'm going to come back over to my account here. We are going to do what everybody should be doing. If you're liking what's going on with the BitLab Academy and what we share here. Hey, dog, stop it. Come here, hit the retweet, hit that like button. There we go. Now, got a house full of dogs, and it's all good. Can you guys tell that I almost just canceled the damn stream today. I was so frustrated. So we're going to do this together. Okay. SEC is trying to throw everything they can at any institution out there that is involved with crypto in any regard. They're trying to bring those CBDCs, man. They're trying to create an avenue to where, I mean, I don't even know. I mean, my brain is so disorganized right now, but I did a tweet yesterday that okay, let's go. Sometimes you just gotta smack yourself straight. Okay, where we at? Oh, this is the tweet I was looking for. Okay, BitLab, thank you for being here. BitBoy Crypto, YouTube, Mr. Blake, Justin Eubank, everybody in the house. We had a frustrating start this morning with all these darn issues with the tech side here, but we're up and running, and so let's go ahead and hop in. I don't know why. Oh, it's when my mouse goes on the other screen. Okay. This is what happens when you go back and forth between different studio setups, but I am be moving to Atlanta, so it's going to be more permanent studio setup, so all good there. So this is what I wanted to share right here. It is, how come there's 14 different tweets of the same tweet here? It's very weird. This is what I'm talking about right here. US is let me know thoughts. US has some regulatory bills they're working towards. What if the SEC is working with backdoor directives, meaning people just being in their ear, behind closed doors in a way that it shouldn't be, to bring scrutiny to crypto, so government officials, so the other government officials that are going to be voting on these bills have doubts. Basically, they're, essentially a great example of that is today, SEC Chair Gary Gensler is going to be on like a press junket. He's going to be doing talking on a couple different shows, and that's not something the SEC chair should do. I mean, these are just charges that they just brought. It's not criminal charges. It's just like, I mean, we look at anything. I mean, look at JP Morgan Chase fines. I mean, say Goldman Sachs Group combined with JP Morgan Chase, $200 million in fines from December, bring a total to $2.1 billion in fines. The biggest. So my point being here with this is essentially what's going to be happening with all these charges is it's basically posturing for things that are very far beyond what the scope of what's actually going to happen at the end of the day. I think it's very likely. We come back over to this tweet. This is not the exact tweet that I wanted to. I feel so disorganized right now because this damn stream wouldn't start. Okay, you guys, you know what? I love you, man. I don't know where it is. I don't know why my Twitter posted 14 of the same tweet. You can see, as technologically involved as I am, is that this is the tweet I was looking for. Silver lining is today an indication the SEC is about to lose the XRP case. So grasping the straws before the legal precedent is set from that case. Free our crypto, empower our economy, financial sovereignty, support innovation. SEC is doing everything they can that is completely opposite of what the Constitution in the U.S. says, which they're not protecting anybody. Them throwing all this stuff at the wall with Coinbase and with Coinbase. Let's see. Yeah. Big love, Kels. Thank you, Crypto Kid. With Coinbase, Binance, XRP, what's next? They've listed, I mean, I can't even remember all the things that they listed, but the list is ridiculous. It's ADA, it's Dash, it's Near, it's Algo, it's what else was it? ICP, Nexo. The list was just absolutely insane for the different coins that or assets that they're going over. And you know what? Dan Gambardello, that's why it's messing me up. There we go. Dan Gambardello here made a great point yesterday, and many other people have made this point as well with Cardano, for instance, them throwing the wall at Cardano, suggesting that Cardano is a security. Well, it was not released. It was not ICO'd in the US. It was released in Japan first. In addition to that, there was a number of other things. It was basically, if we look at the library court case that they had, that was ruled, because it was sold on the secondary market, wasn't security. So same thing essentially happened with Cardano. Cardano was released in Japan, and then it's been released on the secondary market, which means it's not a security. The list just goes on and on and on with Cardano, as well as it being one of the most decentralized, node, basically the way it's staked. It's just decentralized this is I don't want to get into that right now, actually. Let's look at some charts. I'm so disorganized right now because the damn stream wasn't working. We're just going to do some charts because we can talk and speculate about all the stuff going on and what should happen, what shouldn't happen. But what we can always do when we're lost is pull up a map and look at the map. And that's exactly what we're going to do right now, because I do not have my roadmap. I don't have my stream sort of set up the way I wanted it to. So we're going to be diving in here. Let's go ahead and look at first step. We're going to be looking at Bitcoin. Let's go to the daily. Okay. So here we go. We're going to double click on the chart here. Now I want you all to notice something. If we zoom in just a little bit more, you guys remember this about 2 weeks ago? I think price was somewhere in this region here. When price was somewhere in this region right here, let me go ahead and move this. I need to go to, there we go. We got some people in the room. All right, everybody should hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Join us here. We're going to be breaking down a lot of the charts here. I'm going to try and break down all the charts of all the coins that were listed as securities from Senior Douche Gary himself. I'm going to be spicy today, guys. So just so you all know, because I tend to keep it pretty clean. I'm not going to be just dropping F-bombs, but I'm going to keep it spicy today because I'm kind of over this whole thing with Gary Gensler and the SEC and the whoever's pulling his strings to support the Ponzi scheme that is the US dollar and central banks. You know what? Keep that going, but also allow people to opt out of that and participate, in a parallel. It doesn't have to be one or the other. It doesn't have to be everything into Bitcoin and crypto. They can allow things to develop on both sides. It's just stupid to me that the U.S. government is playing this so slow. I hope I don't get shadow banned for basically speaking truth to this dumb shit power that's going on right now with the U.S. government. But all right, here we go. Can you guys tell I'm spicy today? Traveling and all right, here we go. Shout out to my boy Morel. I was having some issues this morning with the stream, and he's like, "Hey man, just breathe, turn things on and off, and try again." It's like, well, I have been breathing, and I've turned it on and off and on. All right, Gary's. If you're pissed off, throw one of those chili peppers in chat right now. If you're pissed about what's going on with Gary Gensler and the SEC, if you fully agree with everything he's doing, then get off this channel because you shouldn't be here. You don't even need to put in an emoji because he's not protecting people. He is protecting banks. So let's cut all this speculation. We're going to look at what's going on with the price. What I want to point out here is about a week ago, you see this little box right here? I have not moved this box. This is that box I was looking at. Now the price came to this box almost exactly, overshot it just a little bit. But this is exactly, look at this, because you see the price action works all the way down here. I call it passion. That's right. That's right, Alexander G. Shout out to everybody for being here. I love you all. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button. Join us. We break down everything from the charts to on chain to we try to throw that. You guys give me 1 second. This damn dog is. Hold on 1 second. Let me eat your toy, dog. Okay. The dog was going after that bone like it was Gary Gensler going after something that was irrelevant. Okay. You see, we're getting it today. Point being is here we see the price action came down right into the meat of where this box is right here. We have the wick went all the way down and very quickly got eaten right back up. The bulls pulled this right back into the zone. Now, why were we looking at the zone? Well, the zone is from, remember, when we look left on the chart, if we kind of come down here, hit that auto button, we can see this projected sort of zone right here. Now, I want you to know something, and I didn't do this before because I didn't want the chart to be too messy, but there's something we have to pay attention to here. If we look right here, we can see that there's, this is on the daily chart. We see there's some wicks past this, and this is sort of the lower sort of support trend line here is going up to where the bodies of these candles are. So one of the things I want to do as well is go from the same point here and take it out to where there we go. Take it out to where basically the bottom of these wicks are. And it's going to give us kind of a sort of range when we get this all the way up in this zone up here. We could see, there we go. So this is basically we have the bodies and the wicks, and this is giving us a sort of target range right in here that we can look at for what's happening with the price action. And now when the price action, look, it did overshoot this initial line here, but then it is slowed down in this region, and it's starting to, we're gonna have to see how this develops because there's gonna be a lot of speculation. There's gonna be slow speculation in terms of some people are gonna come late to the party of the news. Some people will already have acted on it. And so what we wanna do here is actually, I'm gonna turn off the submersive. I'm gonna turn on the mesopic feather. We can see this is, okay, we got the point of control way up here. We're gonna zoom in just a little bit. Actually, I wanna, let's go 100. There we go. A little bit. That sounds cool. Apologize if anybody's Italian. So we're basically, the price action is traveling into this range. Now I want you to notice something with the relative extrema, which is this essentially, these green bars right here. The reason these are green, if this is your first time seeing this channel, or you just forgot, because I do talk about this every day. This is basically, these candle bars are tied into the relative extrema, which is this indicator right here, which indicates essentially the health of every move within a trend. So when the candles on the price action are within, basically within this sort of aggregate momentum, this aggregate momentum wave, this shaded wave here, this is healthy. When price action is outside of this aggregate momentum wave, this means that it's unhealthy. So when this is to the downside, this means, hey, stop it. I'm gonna have to smack a, come on, doggy. When the price action is coming down and this is outside, this is showing there's some underlying, there's lack of bearish follow through supporting the move to the downside. AKA there's some bullish underlying narrative with it. I want to put my fist through a wall right now, but I won't. So we can see right here, this is a good example of this price action is coming down. See how these are green? It's because the relative extrema is signaling that this is an unhealthy move, and it doesn't mean that it can't sustain for some period of time. What Kelly is having a day. Well, you know what it is? I just realized also I'm hangry because I woke up at like 5 a.m. and I have not eaten yet. I just am having my first coffee now, so I'm sure my blood sugar is low and the computer wasn't working and this dog is driving me crazy. So all things considered, I have a sip of coffee for you. Hey, we're like a family here. You guys get me on my good days and you get me on my bad days. So throw a 1 in chat if you want my authentic self. Throw a 2 in chat if you want me to be some fake, somebody fake on here. Just no, I'm going to be myself with you guys. I'll be good again. Thank you, Gia. All right, you know what, everybody, we're going to ooze from us. So what we're seeing here, what I want you to notice is this is not a direct absolute signal in and of itself. When we see these green bars, what this says to me is look to the other signals. Are there other signals? Now the dog has hairballs. Look to the other signals. Is there bullish divergences, or is a significant movement down here on the bottom starting to signal that you're overheated, which is this red wave, or underheated, which is this blue wave? Well, we can look to all these things. So we're seeing right in here, let's go ahead and turn on all the divergences just so we see how this sort of lines up. So see this green bars coming into also a known zone, and we get a bullish divergence flag here on the market intelligence, and then we move up. Now, this isn't going to play out 100% of the time. All signals will be different based on the context of what's happening in the market at that particular moment. So we always need to look to multiple different signals to get that healthy, sort of cultivated look at what's happening currently in the market. Now, right here, we see this was signaling that a likely bounce was going to happen. And then, boom, we get this washout to the downside, bullish divergences, and we kind of consolidate to the side. Now, as this stands right now, and I mentioned this yesterday, this is currently, we are in a downtrend within a midterm uptrend within a macro sort of decision point. And so when we're looking at this is in a downtrend. However, what we're seeing is we're getting this green, and we got the bullish divergence, and we got the bullish divergence here on the, we look at this right here on the, where is it at? On the hidden volume. This is a bullish divergence right here, tied to bullish divergences on the price action, tied to unhealthy movement down, showing these green candles are showing there's underlying bullish pressure. So we got everything here other than the blue wave, but we have the blue wave back here. So we know that the momentum indicators are relatively low, meaning they've reset, giving us plenty of room to run. So this was our 1 right here, the blue, and then we got our 2 right here. We got a bullish divergence, which is a little bit of choppiness, but then the washout to the downside, we get another bullish divergence on volume. We get a bullish divergence on RSI. We have the relative extreme of flashing underlying bullish pressure. And so this was a great move for a scalp trader. And notice I said that. If you are a position trader trading the long term, you don't need to be trading here to here to here to here to here to here to here. You need to understand what your skill set is and practice whatever it is that you do for your risk tolerance level, for your understood sort of what you can actually afford to have risk exposure to. What's your capital protections? What's your risk management? You need to reassess these things regularly. For instance, here's a good point. Right now, market's dropping, and I'm not saying that nobody, even the biggest people in in investing, everybody still is aware of their emotions and how they feel. When the price is dropping, it's still a little bit kind of like, sometimes, but sometimes you see it dropping and you go, okay, it's going towards that zone that I was going to buy. So the question here is, when the price started dropping, even whether it started way up here or even this most recent with the binance, Coinbase, all this FUD that's happening right now, do you feel frustrated with price action not going up yet? Of course, we all have a little bit of impatience, absolutely. But are you feeling like, is there a need? Do you have a need in your life to where if this doesn't happen, you're like, you're gonna have to figure out at which point to cut and run, in the next, 3 to 6 months or something, because there's a bill due that you have. Why does this keep flashing like that? Trying to make sure everything's good. I'm seeing things flashing on my end. The point being is we want to make sure that we are set up in a way that's going to keep us sustainable. And remember that we need to have patience over time. Is this? Oh, that's why. Okay. Other tech issues here with YouTube. It's been a day. If you haven't yet, It's been a frustrating day. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell, join us. If this is your first time, it's not going to be your last time. Let's talk about these signals. We're going to talk about Bitcoin. We're going to be talking about a lot of these altcoins. Alexander G, Organic Kelly all day, every day, mad respect. Yeah, you know what? It's been a frustrating day in terms of the tech side on my side. I'm not frustrated with the markets. I'm frustrated with the tech. So shout out. Thank you for the super chat. And also, if Elliot Locke is in here, I do remember, I think it was Elliot Locke. It might have been Justin Eubanks. One of the two sent me I did a super chat last week and I forgot to get to it. So my deepest apologies on that. I didn't see it. So, okay. My only question is, how much XRP should I buy? Well, let's look at this. Let's look at the charts. Okay, we got Bitcoin right here. This came right into the zone that we talked about. This box right here. Why did I do this box right here? Because we had this sort of projected uptrend right now. It's kind of like we're in the area of the crossroads right here. We have this uptrend line. We have this horizontal line that has been massive resistance for us that we had to break through. And we're coming down into this zone. Does this mean we're absolutely going up, and away from here? Not necessarily. It means that we have the opportunity if other market stimuli kind of fall into place. If Coinbase starts delisting a bunch of stuff, we have to understand also, think about the market dynamics of organizing your portfolio and organizing what it is you're investing in. Because if you get, for instance, if there's some, I don't want to say veracity, because I think there's no veracity to what Gary Gensler's doing. In terms of if Coinbase and Binance and KuCoin and Gemini end up starting to take some like very staunch legal advice and start delisting some of these things that are speculated to potentially you could bring them under further lawsuit for the security stuff, or if they're whatever route they take, it can have different impacts on different parts of the market. Because remember, we got to come over here real quick. We got to look at our other sort of charts. It's not just about price action and where things are going in this exact moment. Sometimes we want to look at this right now, this Bitcoin dominance. You see, if the market was truly scared, about all these securities allegations, remember, these are just allegations at this point from SEC, then the Bitcoin dominance, I would think, would actually start rocketing to the upside, because people would be wanting to get out of these potential securities and into something, a safer haven asset like Bitcoin, or even just not even getting into Bitcoin, just by nature of selling out of dropping the price on altcoins. That would also likely bring the Bitcoin dominance up as well if Bitcoin was holding around the same price. So we're not seeing that. We're seeing actually a little bit this sort of symmetrical triangle, a flag-ish symmetrical triangle that we're seeing is actually it's kind of changed positions here. Now it looks kind of like we're trading in a range. We already got the line there. I can barely see that line. Let's go ahead and make that darker. There we go. All right. So the point being is here, we need to understand, this is why it's so healthy to have a good diversification within your portfolio, because right now, I hold Bitcoin, I hold Ethereum, but I also hold Cardano and Avalanche and the Graph and HBAR and a bunch of coins that were listed in these lawsuits, but also a bunch of coins that aren't yet. Now the question is does this mean, again, is this something that is insinuating that there may be something happening with XRP soon, and now the SEC is worried about having egg on their face, so they're trying to get some other stuff in the pipeline before the potentially positive news about XRP case comes live? Well, we don't know that. All we can do is plan accordingly. And we can see here with the total market cap too, this is everything except Bitcoin. We can see that this is broken this trend line, but it's just been hugging this, waiting for some sort of positivity to bloom. Now, one of the things I do want to say about this though is let me see if I can actually pull this up on this chart. SP 500. It's not going to work because it's such a, essentially the market, the traditional, like the S&P 500, S&P 500, and you know what? I might be able to do it with QQQ. No, you know what? I'm going to do it with Bitcoin. Sometimes you just got to navigate through these charts. Okay, now let's go ahead and turn off the, okay. Now what we want to see here is QQQ. It shows you, you see this line right here? This shows you how much more volatile and how much more gains you get in Bitcoin when it starts running, because you can't even see, So you see this right here? This is a QQQ, and it's just, they're running very tight correlation. But what you can see right here, remember when this FTX collapsed, and then as we're going sideways, we see this start basically front running this by, let's see, this is December 26th. This is, you know, January 8th. So by about a week and a half, 2 weeks, the QQQ starts lifting up. Now look at where we're at right now. This is the interesting part. Let's go ahead and remove all drawings. Okay. Now look at this right here. This price action is coming down, and we're getting a bit of a bullish divergence. And I won't directly call it that because these are two asset classes that were correlating. So I'm not going to call it a full-on bullish divergence. But what we can see here is price action is coming down on Bitcoin, while the QQQ, the traditional asset space, is seeing liquidity come into it. I mean, think about what just happened yesterday with Apple. You know, Apple just hit all-time highs again yesterday. There we go. I mean, look at this. I think we pulled back below it now, but yeah, this would be option J. So we can see this barely kind of broke through that. But is this going to be something like Caleb Franzen calls it? He's like, it's like our MVP player playing with all these other assets that are just not performing nearly as well as these FANG stocks. FANG being Facebook, well, now Meta. So should we call it MANG now? Apple, Netflix, Google. There's a couple other I think that are in there now, but is this going to pull that up? Because when we look at these other assets, it's just crypto is actually, it's getting crushed right now by this speculative charges that Gary Gensler is bringing against these assets. Now, I want to continue back on and look at the actual TA on these, and we're going to go into a bunch of different altcoins here in a second. But the point is here, we see we have a lot of support below us. Remember, I had this line in here from about almost a month ago. This pink line that we have right here. I'm going to make it much brighter now. I have this here because this is right just after when we get the FOMC meeting, which happens February. My brain's not working today. June 13th and 14th. Yeah, June 13th and 14th. The press conference is on the 14th. And this is right about the middle of the month. And what did I say? I've been saying this for a month, and I could be completely wrong, but the way I'm looking at this market right now, and I have plans in both directions. I have a map of you see my markings above and below the different levels. And with the mesopic vision, we also see this order block down here all the way. This is a little scary, all the way down here at 20,000. Could we get down here and close this sort of order block here, in the charts? I don't know. But what I'm doing is I'm strategically placing myself, the opportunities to take advantage and capital management to take advantage regardless of which way this price action goes. Now, these were the three markings that I had on here. We can move these now because this has changed. We can still kind of put this over here. And what I'm looking at now is actually price action right about there, option. Let's do this and put this down here. These are the main levels that I'm looking at right now. I'm actually going to put this kind of a zone, option J, kind of a zone right in there. Why do I say this? Because we see these tops getting rejected. We see this support. We see this kind of support and rejection. I mean, I could do a whole box here. There's just a lot on the screen. So these are the levels that I'm watching right now. If we were to drop below this, I think if we were to drop below this, there's probably more news coming out and maybe some another exchange, Gemini or KuCoin. But what's interesting today is when the Coinbase allegations came out, this was about 25.5 and it dropped to about 25.6 25,450, and then now the price is actually up. But people are like, you know what? Gary Gensler is the boy that cried wolf, I mean, there's so many people. I mean, you all saw the Gary Gensler congressional hearing where they were just taking him to task. I think that I still don't think I found the right Twitter thing that I wanted to share with you all, but it was because that's not what I was looking for. This, this is what it's about. This right here. I think something incredibly positive is about to happen for Bitcoin and the crypto markets. This is the doubt they're trying to sow before the train leaves the station. You know, a bunch of people, Dan Garbadillo agreed, Mustache, a lot of different people, and everybody I talk to, it just seems like it just seems like there's so much lining up right now that is suggesting where we're at in the cycle, where we're at with sentiment, this final washout. You know, if we come over here to, is it CoinGlass? Yeah, coinglass.com. This was pretty impressive, I should say so myself. If we look at liquidations and we look at, oh, they changed the whole site here. This is interesting. Liquidation heat map, 4 hours, 12 hours, 4 hours. This is what I want to look at. So this is a crazy thing. This is, yeah, so this is right here. $292 million in longs liquidated, meaning there's a lot of people on derivatives and futures and option margin that were trading long, that on trading long, they, you know, you have different liquidation points where you're forced to sell, you're forced to buy back, you're forced to sell to close that long on a derivatives. It's the same thing if you're going short. If you're shorting a market, then you're forced to buy that same value contract long. That's why you get these. That's why you get these liquidation points, and that's also when you get the very fast price movement, because price moves either close to a liquidation or actually fully liquidate somebody, and they're forced to do the opposite of what that contract is. And what's really interesting here is that we're at this stage in the market where everybody is, you know, there's we've sort of flushed out the super gamblers, meaning we're not having a ton, we're not having 400, 600, $1 billion in liquidations, which we've had before. We're getting to the market being a bit more healthy. Let's go to 12 hours. Yeah, so that was it's 100 million, you know, that's just on Bitcoin. If we do all of it, then you're gonna see a lot more. So 263 million longs liquidated. Point being is we're gonna have some healthier price action here, hopefully. But the only problem with that is the further we get into this sort of structure that is clearly higher, you know, a new higher high, higher low, higher high. Are we going to get a higher low here? If this starts to bounce to the upside, we have to pay attention that as much as we want it to, this is also a rising wedge right here. So are we going to get a washout? This would make sense to get a washout, liquidity washout to the downside, tap the liquidity that's sort of in this region right here, but between these two highs and this sort of, this basically this blue box in here, the 23.5 down to 22.5. If this, I don't want it to happen, but if this were to happen, it makes sense based on what's happening. Now, if this price action comes up here and breaks and just taps in back into this, that's fine too. But what we're seeing here, if we look on this more broadly on the 3-day chart, where are we going? Let's get it. There we go. 3-day chart, look at that. We had a bit of a bullish divergence on the volume. So there are people coming in that are interested at a little bit higher price than we were here. So this is nice because we also have the blue wave right here on the significant movement. This blue wave is signaling that the MACD, the RSI, I have so many different, okay. So we see the stochastics all the way down here at the bottom. The RSI is coming back into sort of a region that's kind of near the 50 line. And really, have we broken the 50 line? Yes, but we're still in that sort of region of, you know, we're questionably trying to hold the data for a bullish narrative. Okay. And so when we see this, we also have it angled back up. Let's do option T. We can do We got a little bit of a rising wedge here. We have the MACD is rolling over on this as well, slightly, but it is now expanding again. So let's get down to the daily chart. Yeah, we're seeing also, see reset here. MACD is just, this just looks choppy. It's just kind of going into a small range. We need to figure out what's going to happen right here. People want some clarity about what's happening with all these cases with the SEC just throwing stuff at the wall. But this is what I'm looking at here. If this were to bounce at this region, we could of course go all the way up to this top line. I would be looking at more specifically, highest being right here, 27.4. Likely rejection back down and sort of consolidate. I think we're going to be doing some consolidating in this region and then have a very explosive move. That's what I would think. Now, let's go ahead and look. I'm going to peek at the chat here for a moment so I can see what you guys are saying. Morning, Crypto Billy. It was such a nice time meeting you at Miami. Let's see, anything else? SEC versus America. That's right. Raul Fibonacci, what's up, my friend? Now, let's go ahead and look at Cardano. Drive safe. Glad you got a new one. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the things. Ethereum, one of the coins not listed, which I think is a good sign. So I don't even know when I do this chart, but we're gonna utilize it. All right, so let's look at what's going on. So Ethereum, let's kind of come back to our indicator set because it's what I use almost exclusively just because I understand it so well. So we can see on the day, let's go to the 3-day actually. 3-day. Point of control right here on this sort of 100 bar. I have it set at 100 bars, I think. 200 bars. Let's do a little bit wider. No, I want to do. So yeah, I mean, look at this. So the point of control is this line. Why is there so many red lines? Sometimes you just gotta change color of things. I swear you used to be able to select multiple lines. Oh, it's not. Okay. So where is my, okay. Just getting oriented on this chart. Okay. So Ethereum, look at all these red boxes. That was. So we have all this red and blue boxes. These are order blocks within the chart here. It's basically volume anomalies, volume gaps in the order books and stuff, and showing where there's likely going to be liquidity coming back to that area, meaning the price action will likely get pushed back to that area. But it also can be used as support and resistances. So you see right here, price came back up into this, got rejected right here off this. This is Ethereum to US dollar 8-hour chart. Coming up, kind of breaks above it. Kind of chop it in here. Then we create another order block here and it's coming down. Now we're right at the point of control on this zone right here. Now, this is interesting because I want to first, we're going to come back to this in a second. Looking at this, clearly Ethereum is broken out against Bitcoin. Ethereum is looking stronger because it's not, Ethereum is gaining some of the traction from all the other altcoins being listed as potential securities. But despite that, remember, we've been talking about this chart for about 2 weeks now, and the bullishness that this had coming into the, look, it's coming into the zone, rejection, and then breaking through this. I mean, this is clear. Now, what we want to watch for, look at this. The high of this chart is exactly about where the price action is coming to here on this pair. Now, what does this pair show us? It shows us that Ethereum is performing more strongly than Bitcoin. That's what, when you're looking at all these different pairs, doesn't matter what asset you're looking at. If you're looking at within the crypto ecosystem, say you're looking at, I don't know, Aptos, you can look at it this, Apt, BTC, you can get it, doesn't matter what asset, but it's always good to take a peek at the different assets you're interested in, because if the asset if you're interested in an asset and over a period of a cycle, not just over like one day, but over a period of a cycle, if your asset is not performing as well as Bitcoin, there's why hold something that's not as secure and as decentralized as Bitcoin? The whole point of holding these other assets is to build up your total value in Bitcoin of your portfolio. Now, even if you don't hold Bitcoin at all, I've had periods where I've held zero Bitcoin. I mean, other than my long-term HODL portfolio, but I've had, and I know other people that hold zero Bitcoin, but they still weigh what it is they're earning against Bitcoin, because if Bitcoin is considered to be, and it could be argued to be, the lowest risk. So if you're holding other assets with less of a track record, with a smaller market cap, with less of a community, decentralized community, what's the point of exposing yourself to that risk if Bitcoin's performing better than that other asset that also carries more risk? So you just want to pay attention to that. That's why I try to bring up these Bitcoin pairings sometime. And Ethereum's looking rather strong, especially if this breaks this sort of zone. I think it could be traveling, and this is, remember, this is relative to Bitcoin price. So if this were to go up here, this is a 10% gain over what Bitcoin would have gained in that same time, considering if they were both going up or down. This means Ethereum is falling less. Now, if we come over here let's go back to Ethereum, number of different charts. Yeah, so this is looking relatively weak on this chart, but against the Bitcoin pairing, we had a little bit of strength there. So why is that? It just means that Ethereum is showing a little bit more resilience in the face of the scrutiny that Bitcoin's coming under right now. Now, why is that? Well, Bitcoin has quite a bit of institutional investment in it, and smart money, and people that are trading with really large accounts and smart money, hedge funds, people that are getting exposure. They tend to be a little bit, they start pulling some of their assets when there is a little fear about what's going on. Now, the really smart money, this is not financial advice. Now, the really smart money would say, this is the best asset in the history of the world. And right now, this FUD is the opportunity that sets up for the next bull market. So it's okay for me in my strategy, when this price action is coming down, I know what the supply and demand dynamics is going to happen as the mining rewards cut in half, and it drives interest in the space, and price starts moving. And then this is all pre-hype cycle. And then we get the hype cycle, and hopefully at some point this cycle, at some point in the next 1 to 3 years, I would hope we get some fair value accounting, which means I don't want to go in that whole thing right now. I'm going to get sidetracked, but look up fair value accounting in crypto, because that's one of the things that's holding back institutions being able to invest in crypto. Because if you buy crypto and it drops below your purchase price at any point, even if it's one day after you bought it, and then the rest of the year it's up 30x, but you haven't taken any profits. If you're an institution and you hold that on your balance sheet, you have to show the loss that the second you take loss, or not take loss, the second your portfolio is in a loss, even though you didn't realize that loss, you have to carry that loss on your balance sheet. But you're not allowed to say anything when your portfolio is in the positive and multiple X. It's ridiculous. That's not how other assets are. And they're it's the government and lack of regulation trying to stick it to preventing institutions from investing in, as Michael Saylor says, the most thermodynamically sound investment opportunity of your life. But this is all for entertainment, everybody. This is not financial advice, right? Okay, let's go ahead and look at these other assets. Ethereum. Let's go to the daily. On the daily, we're getting choppiness, but we're coming back in. We're coming back in with the blue wave here. This is looking like it's trying to make an attempt, but I get PTSD when I look at these sort of structures like this, because this reminds me of Bitcoin 2017, 2018, or 2018. Where we had the giant descending triangle where you have the flat bottom where the floor fell out from under it. But this time I understand how the markets work and I can use this to my advantage. This is a somewhat bearish structure. Not only that, look at this. This is trying. We get an M structure in this as well, which is, I would be looking for Ethereum to probably do a little bit of a pullback. This entire move is this. Yeah. So I'd be looking for a buy on a pullback, maybe even retest. I don't think it'd be coming down to 15, but who knows? Things are looking a little spicy. I'd be looking for a break of this. Likely retest, but I think that this will probably, when it breaks, is probably a break with a little bit of authority. However, we're seeing some strength come in at these levels. You see this relative extrema here at the bottom. These sticking out. That's why these candles are green right here. That's why these are green right here. And we're getting the blue wave. Maybe Ethereum could surprise us here. We saw how much stronger it's performing than Bitcoin on the ETH to Bitcoin pair. This is just not. It's making that attempt. Look at that. So this is zoomed in with the mesopic feather. We will be releasing this here in a couple weeks. We can see that. This volume range, this came right down into this sort of zone. This is rocketing up on the smaller time frame. This is a 4 hour, but how is it going to contend with this order block here and this order block here, which is this blue and this red? This will be interesting. If this knifes right through it and comes right up here, maybe there's something more bullish underlying. But we are moving up rather strongly, and we don't have. The interesting thing is we don't have an unhealthy signal here on the relative extrema, and we still have the blue wave. So maybe there's something to this. Come down to the, you see on the 2 hour, this is looking more unhealthy on the 2 hour. The smaller time frame you go, the faster the readings can get. So you can kind of get that tighter resolution when you come to different time frames like this. If I were a betting man, I would think that this will probably get rejected somewhere in here and come back down and test this zone here. Now let's go to Cardano, the security, right? Oh my God, this is such a security. I do not agree with that. Now this is okay. Look at that. That's good. Wick down, washout. Look at these volumes. These volumes are getting, we're getting some strong volume. What do I mean by that? I mean, these large candles that we have on the bottom, this is the volume on each one of these individual candles. Now, if you know that, great. If you're wondering, like, why is he telling us this dumb stuff? This channel is all about giving you alpha content, but breaking it down also for beginners. So and I want everybody here, if you do have more experience, wonderful, stay here. Help answer questions in the chat. We need to make sure that we have a strong crypto community, a strong crypto ecosystem, so more people know how to navigate these markets so that they can, you all, every one of you, can make money and change your life and be bastions, be missionaries for crypto for your friends and family. You don't have to go out there and blast them with it and tell them how, why, what, where, but just live a better life. And when they need some help, help them. And then they're going to say, how'd you get to this point? You go, well, let me tell you about my friend Bitcoin over here. Let me tell you about Cardano. Let me tell you about AVAX. Let's hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell, and throw those emojis in chat. We've got to be a community together. That's what this is about. So that's what this is about. Now, looking here. Okay, we got Cardano. If we didn't know that there was news that came out, it wouldn't really be that surprising because we're having this sort of weak sort of range traveling to the upside. And a range traveling to the upside, what did I tell you it was like? It's like the stair step, right? It's the down, sideways, down, sideways, down. So is sideways next, or is this going to actually rebound? As it looks right here, we have the blue wave showing here, the very weak bounce here. Blue wave showing here, but no relative extrema. This did not look unhealthy. So that's a little concerning. So what I'm looking at here is more of a bear flag, likely, unless the community can come together, baby. Likely, I mean, Piano Matty B says, where it wick, it'll likely candlestick. Is that going to be the case here, or is this a liquidity washout? I don't know. Some analysts will always tell you the answers. I will tell you Honestly, sometimes you just don't know. Sometimes you're looking at this. Look at this. Green candles all the way down, meaning this was unhealthy all the way down. This is why you need to look to other signals. You use this as a signal to, this is saying, okay, we need to start looking for other signals. Where's our points of support? Where's our divergences? Where's all the stuff? Now, coming in where we're at right now, this is on the daily chart. This is coming down. Now, this does look like a reversal candle. This looks like almost like a doji. I kind of forget this time. Is it Dragonfly Doji or a hanging man? I think the hanging man is at the top. I get those confused sometimes. But the point being is here, we have a small body and a long wick to the downside here, which is likely potentially, we have to say this, potentially a reversal candle, likely move to the upside. And now it gets a little stronger when we see that we have the green candle on the daily and we get 5 bullish divergences that are listed right here on market intelligence right here. All these, for anybody that doesn't know, these indicators that we have on this chart, the market intelligence, relative extrema, hidden volume, significant movement, all these are part of the BitLab trading stack, which if you haven't yet, you can, I just want to shout this out because I haven't yet this stream. Make sure you come over here to bitlabacademy.com. If you're interested in those indicators, come right here to BitLab indicators. I believe I was supposed to turn off the coupon, but I didn't do it yet. You can use STACK30, STACK 30 for, you know, if you come over here and get 30% off, additional 30% off this. Now, also, just so you all know, if you come right here on the page, if you have not joined BitLab Academy yet, we have a lot of free stuff. And this, you all need to know this too, because if you have friends and family that don't, they just don't know where to get started, they can start for free with BitLab, with Bitcoin 101, Blockchain 101, learn how to self-custody. There's a whole beginner's course. It's literally entirely free. And then we have this, basically, you can join the all access for all the courses we have. You get access to all of them as well as the BitLab Discord. Or you can get all of our indicators plus all access, plus the Ray Pulse indicator also, plus the Discord premium membership. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. I will be doing another, what do you call it? AMA in Discord for the members. But this is, you know, this is all the current courses that we just relaunched. It's all brand new stuff. And we have a lot more coming here soon. We're going to be updating this regularly. Okay, now back to the regularly scheduled programming. We need to shout out some of the things we're doing sometimes, right? So Cardano, by the way, this right here, we're talking about this stuff. So come over here to candles. We check out this course. You get inside the candles course, and then once you're in here, you can see there's different types of candles. We break down different stuff, and this is, you know, growing. We're adding more and more stuff to this. So you know, when you're trying to look at these charts, it's not just about indicators. I can look at price action and know that this is likely going to reverse just from this candle. This wasn't as clear, but then we have our other tools like the indicators, in this case, divergences and momentum. And we see right here, we have the lower high. So I knew not only was this lower high, but we have 2 reversal candles right here on this push up. Oops. On this push up, in addition to this being a lower zone. So as soon as this candle broke past this zone, I would have known that this was, if I was still long here on a shorter time frame trade, that this was likely going to be moving to the downside, because we have a lower high. We have a lower high here as well as these reversal candles on this smaller term move, and we end up moving down. Now, similarly, we have this, I think this is a Dragonfly Doji. Sometimes you got to just double check yourself. Yeah, so kind of like a Dragonfly Doji, kind of like a hammer candle. It just signals. You can understand from the momentum. It means the bears really tried to take this down, because you see this wick, this skinny line here. This is the wick. The bears really tried to take it down, and then the bull said, "That's far enough, love," and it brings it right back up into the kitchen. So you see this? This is a story of momentum. You're getting that story by understanding what happens with each candle. Okay? So the bulls really attempted to bring this back up. The bears now are asking themselves, well, okay, well, the liquidity was there. The bears have the bears kind of lost this battle. The question is going to be on this next candle, are we going to get a quick move up? Are we going to get a little bit of indeterminable like this, where we get another small candle, another spinning top, or a doji candle, all of which we talk about in the BitLab Academy Candles course. What's going to happen? The point being is, with this candle, it looks like there's a likely reversal. With the green candle, because of the relative extrema, and this showing that this was an unhealthy move down, plus we're having bullish divergences here, from RSI, MACD, momentum, and money flow, this is likely going to make an attempt up. The question is going to be, is this going to be just a very weak, for instance, if we do a fib from this top to the bottom? By the way, if you want to do a fib, you just do Option F, or Alt F if you're on PC. On Mac, it's Option F, and then click on your chart and you have your fib right there. So you don't have to go over here to the left. By the way, speaking of that, where is BitLab Academy? If you should all come and check this out if you're watching on the Hit Network, come and check us out, youtube.com/@BitLab Academy. But then also, I wanted to show you this. Come and check out the Pro Trading View Guide right here on the Daily Alpha. Just scroll down when you're on this page. You'll see a bunch of different stuff that is meant to be more evergreen. And it's really good tools here. So check out these different videos. Now, Cardano looking like it's trying to find a reversal, but the caveat with this is, the reason why I said, is this going to be a strong sort of reversal to the upside? Because now we're forming these consecutive lower lows now, and we have this lower high. So if this comes up and gets rejected anywhere below this golden pocket right here, then I'd be looking for probably much lower lows, potentially even down here, retesting Option J, this sort of region here. This region here, which is the 30 cents. Now, I want you to know something. I just noticed this as well, and I'm glad I left it here. You see this bar right here? What is this random bar on the chart? Well, if you look at this, we can see we've got a head and shoulders right here. Shoulder, head, shoulder. That looks just vulgar, doesn't it? The way I drew that, it was an accident. But we can see the measurement of this head and shoulders is, if you come right here from the top of this head all the way down to this neckline, and then the breakout from that is a target for where the price action will likely go. And when this was happening here, it was like, oh, maybe it's not going to get there. But now look at this. This wick has already gone most of the way down. Are we going to actually come down? Is this something that was suggesting? Does this suggest the bad news was coming? It's funny how TA sometimes can line up with what's happening with the news cycles. Makes you wonder if things are coordinated, or if it's just the nature of the universe. That's what the Fibonacci sequences are all about. That's why Fibonacci's work in charts so well. It's the golden ratio of how everything's organized in the universe. In fact, the way trees organize their branches, and where they sprout branches, and how trees organize themselves in the forest, those also respect. Look it up. I'm not bullshitting you here. They also respect the golden ratio, the Fibonacci sequences, and how they organize. It's really crazy how all this stuff ties in together. And so we see with this right here, Cardano, all the way back in March, started forming this head and shoulder structure, which is a reversal pattern with a suggested sort of target breakdown down here to 31 cents, 31.34. So are we going to see this sort of follow through? In this case, we are in a downtrend, and this is a good analogy for a lot of the other coins that we saw in that in that lawsuit as well. Now let's go ahead and look at some of these other ones. Avalanche. I don't think Avalanche was one of the ones that was not listed, I believe. So we'll leave that one out for now. But XRP, we'll look at Avalanche and XRP in a second. Let's look at Algorand. Let's go to HBAR. Also, I don't think was listed. If I can't remember. There were so many that was listed. I cannot remember. Let me just check in with chat here for a second. Organic. I just think that's so funny. Organic Kelly. That don't sound right, girl. Lido bounced nicely. Let's look at Lido. Lido sounds like Fido. Let's go to crypto. Man, Lido, look at that. Look at this. This is a perfect example. This is Mesopic Vision. You see this order block? This order block was printed here, right here. And look where price came down, sucked into that liquidity, bounced right off of this liquidity. Basically this, this order book anomaly, this order block that we're seeing here. Now let's go ahead to this one. Let's go to a larger time frame. Okay. Anything above us? No. Okay, we have the point of control is right here, right? We've broken through that. So what I want to see here is we're going to do option T. This is on the 4-hour. This is nice. So this not only bounced off this zone, it also was a sort of trend line from before. Now, the problem with this I do see is, I don't want to call it a problem. Everything is just is as it is when you look at a chart. It's never a problem or a solution. It's just, you know, we've got this channel, this rising channel. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, excuse me, 5. What's going to happen here? We feel excited. When we looked at this initially, I want you to notice something. When we looked at this initially, it's like, oh, it made a new high because it broke past this. But then we see, well, it's actually because of this sort of parallel channel. We're in a rising parallel channel, which they tend to break out bearishly first, unless we have a very strong trend. And let's be honest, there's no very strong trend that we have right now. So what we want to see here, boom. Let me double click on this, minimize everything else. Okay, we have another option T. Why here? Because I can. No, because we can see that this 1, 2, it gives us a zone. It's just crazy. 1, 2, 3. Now, what's going to happen here? If we're on the 4-hour, this is looking unhealthy, but and it was blue wave, meaning very undervalued, but it flipped gray. So simple terms, blue means the stochastics have reset all the way at the bottom. You have plenty of room to run. Gray is just neutral. It means several different momentum indicators are showing that it's kind of middle of the pack in terms of all those different indicators: RSIs, momentum, stochastics. And when it's red, it means these things are they're pinned to the top. They're very high. Likely looking for, it's overvalued, likely looking for coming down a little bit. So Lido, I'd be, you know, as this is, I would wait for some sort of, even if this broke out, I would wait for a confirmation on any trade on that. I think this is probably more likely to get trapped into this sort of zone right here. But we'll see. What was some of the other ones? Algo. I'm just looking at what I wanted to get a list of the, somebody give me a list of all the coins that are in this lawsuit. I appreciate it. When you start frustrated at the beginning of something, it just permeates through everything that you do. So I apologize with my dear heart, all of you, for the frustration that I've felt today. Let's look at, I don't want to mess up all my charts here. So let's look at Algo, because Algo was listed in that. This is a crypto cap. That's not what I want to do. There we go. Man, just dropping like a rock. Dropping it like it's hot, right? Let's do the 8-hour chart. Man, you know what? And I have another chart somewhere. I don't know which window it's in. But yeah, this is looking pretty weak. Go to the daily. Yeah, I think there's a likelihood that we come down into this region here, the 10 to 11.5 sort of region. Potential washout sort of here, because we also have option. Oh no, I didn't want to do that. Option T. We also have this right here, which is a little bit of an inverted cup and handle. I could just see that. You see that there, and then the target for this would have been, yeah, down here in the 11.2 sort of range. So yeah, I think algo's probably got a little bit more room to wash out to the downside, but I'm a net buyer. I'm a net buyer on a lot of these, just strengthening my position. So, you know, laddering your entries and laddering your exits, but then also if you are trading, having stop losses on all these assets and being okay with the 1% or a 2% loss, the stop loss getting hit, and then the price ends up falling 5-6%, then you're able to take another shot and have a better entry on that asset. Now, let me see. There you go. BNB. BNB is what we need to look at. BNB. I don't think we ever really look at it on this channel, but they got pretty hammered because let's turn off this market intelligence. Okay. This is rounding here. We see this round the whole way through, but option T, let's get down. Option T. We're doing turbo TA now at the end here. This is kind of in this zone. Now option T gives us option T gives you the trend line. So you don't have to always use a toolbar, meaning coming back and forth like this. This is so frustrating. I get frustrated when I watch other people do TA and I'm like, dude, learn the quick keys. It makes things so much easier. This looks like I had a little bit of a fake out here, but then 1, 2, 3, 4, it's kind of a little ugly, but yeah, this potentially, as bizarre as this sounds, could be setting up for something bullish. Why do I say that? Because this is fairly flat bottom, had a little bit of an attempt out, came back in, and we're hugging most of this up here, testing to the low side of this, but we have an ascending support level here. So this would be an unpopular argument right now because the news we know is fairly negative and is driving a lot of fear and FUD. If I looked at this just on a chart basis, on the daily chart, this looks like if this does bounce here, coming back up to this sort of this flat level of resistance at the top, this could be fairly bullish setup. This could be a little final liquidity washout. But on the flip side, knowing the context of the news, what's going on, this very likely could have another push to the downside. Let's kind of get some levels. Option J. What am I doing? I'm going to the sort of regional level of where the lows are previous to this. So currently right now, this is hanging on to the low from this zone, but also the projected trend line from this zone here. Now, we do have a blue wave here on the daily, but let's kind of go down in the 4-hour, very strong blue wave. So the question is going to be, are we going to be able to bounce? Are we going to be able to bounce from here? This is looking currently very weak. It looks very small, really, with how I had that chart set up. This is looking weak, zoomed in on it. So I do think the broader pattern is potentially bullish. But remember, these patterns, because they're 60 or 70%, breakout bullishly, doesn't mean it's actually has to happen. There's other 30%, and right now the global context, not only the global context, the crypto context, not global, U.S., because the SEC is just, somebody needs to kick him out of his job. I do think that this is likely to have a bit of a washout to the downside, potentially giving some better opportunities. Now, we've already dropped 24%, 22% from the highs back here, all the way up 352 down to 278. We're coming up on nearly $100 cheaper than it was before. So good long-term play, I think, depending on what happens with the court case. We need to pay attention to that. What were some of the other ones? Let's look at Matic. Matic. I'm just thinking, let's do this one. Okay, now this is, they're all looking very similar here. Option J, we're going to go from that sort of low region. And remember, these lines aren't exact. These are the general sort of region. There's a lot going on this chart. Look at this. If I were to, this is right where price action is now. Yeah. Option H gives me, I just wanted to see something here. Look at that. So right where price action bounced, you all know this, notice this? I was just zooming in because I can make these boxes be much longer, but it's just gonna make it'll make the chart be very ugly because you can choose how long you want these. But right where we bounced is right where we had a liquidity gap that we never really filled, the liquidity never came back to. So, and it's right in this zone right here. We had this sort of inverse head and shoulders. We had this liquidity gap. And then right over here, this is exactly where price action currently is bouncing. Is it going to hold and be a true bounce? Well, we don't know. What we can see is we have a strong blue wave, meaning very undervalued, blue wave undervalued. But this is looking weak as it is. And I'm honestly okay with it looking as weak as it wants to look because Bannock is something I wasn't able to allocate enough capital to because I had other things I was prioritizing this last year. But it is something I do. You know, if this were to come down, I wouldn't be mad at it at all because it has so many strong partnerships with Disney and Adidas. And I can't even remember all the partnerships Matic has. Matic, actually, let's do Polygon is what it's going to be listed as. Polygon partnerships. And it's ridiculous. This is just the top 10 partnerships right here. DraftKings, Adobe, National Football League, Starbucks, Adidas and Prada, Walt Disney, Meta, Stripe. I think Polygon and Meta are going to be okay. So as far as this drops, I don't know what you're doing. It's up to you because this is not financial advice, but I'm a net buyer on this going into this next cycle because I think there's going to be some really good things. Now, I want you to notice something. And take note of this. Take notice of these patterns when you see them. Remember, this is coming down, a little bounce here, and then come down, and then this is a little longer. Now come down. We have to pay attention to this. We've talked about this a lot on the stream when we're talking about cycles, and it's right here. It's on my page. I've talked about this. You know, when we have that distribution top, push down, a little bit of relief rally. This relief rally could be up or it could be just sideways. Push down again, relief rally, push down, sideways, push down. And you want to have something that's breaking the previous sort of zones highs before you really start getting too exuberant about the price go up, up, up. And in this case, we can see right here, push down. Oh, I want it to go up. Well, we already know in this case, we have, look at this. This drops here, lower, low. Now we have the lower high. So if you know, understand these market cycles, not only do we have a lower high, but we have an M formation, double top on this small cycle right here. Okay. And then break down, sideways, down, sideways. This is looking relatively weak, but we know the fundamentals of this asset are very strong based on the partnerships and everything they've been building in the ecosystem that has been building on this. So I'm excited the lower this gets because I have a little dry powder sack on my side, meaning capital that I have not allocated yet that I'm stacking to. Because here's the deal, everybody. Even when you're not DCAing into a specific coin, you can also be DCAing into a dry powder sort of sack on the side, which is basically just capital waiting to be deployed when the market conditions are right for that deployment. So that's what you got to do. Now, with that being said, I can't customize this, but so whatever. I can't. It's all good. I love you all. I appreciate you all. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. You know, we had a good number of people in here today. We only got 130 likes. Let's all do our part to drive this forward. I appreciate you all. Now I got a bunch of work I got to do. I'll see you tomorrow's stream. We're not going to be frustrated tomorrow. We're all going to be good. Everybody, stretch your back before we go. Hit that like button and ding that bell and sing with me. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being my friend. Love you guys. I'll see you later.